Alrighty, I think we're on live. Yes, we are. Hello, everyone. Super excited to be here today. If you're here watching live, let me know you're there. Say hello in the comments. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay, I always really love to come back and read what you have to share and yeah, and have that interaction with you. So if you're here live, feel free to participate, playful out, because the more you drop the ahas and the wisdom bombs for you in the comments, what is happening is you're integrating what I am sharing through your own intellect, through your own wisdom, and that has a higher likelihood to stick with you and create transformation. So let's get into it today. So we're in our series of riding the wave of creative momentum into 2024. And today we're talking about part three. So part one was really about consolidating our year through the reflect and review method, accept and acknowledge method. Part two, we covered free will and making high level decisions. And we spoke about the quote Carl Jung, and he said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. We spoke about the importance of making conscious decisions, and today we are diving into how to turn hustle into flow and being on the leading edge of the wave. This is really part of last week's theme as well. It's just an extension of that, of having it all without doing it all. All right. How do you relate to the word hustle? It's different for all of us, right? And it comes back to what is our true nature. So in our true nature, some of us really thrive on hustling, and some of us burn ourselves out. Um, I'd love to know, what's your relationship with hustle? If you can share that in the comments below, I'd really love to hear how that is for you. And, in reality, there are times in life where, it's really important to, be in the momentum. And for some people, being in the momentum, they may perceive or relate to that as hustle. For other people, hustle might be hard work, and almost like pushing a giant rock up a mountain to get to somewhere, right? I can relate to the hard work and pushing the rock up the mountain and then slipping back down because it's just, too hard and feeling like I want to give up. And I can also relate to being in creative momentum, which, to me is flow. And, you know, both ways will get you to the end result of what you want in life. If you hold your vision, if you hold the vision of what you really want or what you love, both ways will get you there. They're just different ways of being on the journey, right? And can you relate to both ways as well? Or are you predominantly, feel like you're pushing a rock up a mountain and you're getting there slowly and slipping back? Or, you know, um, you know, you predominantly are in flow. Or there's another aspect to this, and that is feeling like you're in flow, thinking that you're in flow, but results aren't really showing up in reality. And I want to speak into that a little bit because results don't lie. And so where I want to go today with you is, you know, being being in a state of awareness in terms of how you show up in the world. Are you showing up, in hustle mode, or are you showing up in, you know, a true sense of flow, meaning you are the predominant creative force in your own life, and you have that awareness that things are happening, even though sometimes, they're not totally in your reality yet. As an example, we can actually be attuned to everything through all time and space. We can be attuned to what's happening in the quantum field, behind the scenes, what we don't normally see as we're living and creating in life. And in that state, you are seeing that you are aware that there is creative momentum occurring, and you're aware of what is showing up, and you're aware of the opportunities that are showing up and the divine breadcrumbs that are being shown. And you're seeing the synchronicities that are occurring that might not necessarily look like they're working towards the end result. But when you're attuned and aligned in that higher vibration, that higher state, you're aware that it is. You're aware that it is. And it's a very finely tuned nuance that I love to help people, get into that state. And then there's the flow state where we're a little bit deluded, thinking, yeah, it is happening. And we're grabbing onto, validation outside of ourselves to see it's happening, like signs from the universe, things like that, that may or may not mean we're in flow. So it all comes down to knowing yourself, knowing yourself at that level of your egoic nature that will hold that sense of delusion, or hold that sense of hustle, hold the patterns of hustle or hard work, or just being so relaxed and in flow that there really isn't, you handing the power of creation totally over to circumstances or outside of yourself, or being in the self-awareness that you are in the state of being the predominant creative force in your own life. Now, if this isn't making sense to you, that's okay too, because you might need a little more context around what I'm sharing with you. So let me offer a little bit of context now, and just allow what you don't know or what you might be feeling confused about right now. If you are, just let that be, right? Just let that be what it is. Because when we let things be what they are, when we come into a place of, well, I really don't know what she's talking about, or I really don't know what's going on. When we accept and acknowledge, I don't know, right? And we're not looking for the answers, and we don't need to know. We're in a state of not needing to know. We actually open up to our intuition. We open up to a higher level of awareness. And in that higher level of awareness, we receive all of the answers that are required in the quantum field. And we naturally step into a state of flow, or awareness of flow, when we have that divine connection with the truth of our reality here in the now. I just want to invite you to let that sink in for a moment. When we have that connection, that divine connection within, and I like to call it that connection with our own greatness, with our genius zone, our superconscious, our intuition. Some people like to say the connection with creative spirit, the connection with God, whatever that language is for you. When we have that connection, we're in a state of wholeness. And in that state of wholeness, we have the ability to tap in to what we don't know. We have the ability to tap into the awareness of how the universe is bringing things together for us, how we're able to soften into flow, how we can make higher level decisions that will move with, the power of creative momentum, which is a state of grace, is a state of ease. We can be on the leading edge of the wave. And being on the leading edge of the wave, it's very exciting and very exhilarating. But this is where we do less. We do less and we be more. And we be more by knowing who we are and having that divine connection and making decisions from a place of wholeness, from a place of an abundance. So this place of wholeness is a place of abundance. It's a state, it's a vibration of abundance. Rather than making decisions from our ego or from our identity that was formed in the past that had unconscious patterns of lack, have unconscious patterns of needing to be someone to have it all, needing to do things to have it all, needing to meet certain criteria to be worthy of whatever you want to have. Yeah, all of these things play out in our life. But when we come back to, well, who am I? Who am I really? And we come back to a state of wholeness, a greatness, a state of abundance. We can see everything through all time and space and make high-level decisions. We are at the leading edge of the wave. We are standing in our highest vibration, and we are doing life from a state of high vibration, ease. And so how does this look in terms of creating the life that you love, in terms of being in creative momentum? Let me share a story with you. When I started my coaching business, I had been running a wellness center. I had been, in the healing industry. And I had been helping a lot of people from a state of wholeness, coming into their wholeness, just naturally, organically, offering intuitive guidance, and I saw great changes in people. And people would come and have body work, and they would receive guidance. They would receive some form of coaching, per se. I was naturally coaching them. And people started to share with me, you should become a coach. And I had already started to think about that. And in that era, life coaching wasn't really a big thing as it is now. It was kind of new. It was definitely new in the area I lived. No one did it. So, yeah, so I thought about it and I thought, yes, that's my next step. And it felt true. And it really felt true for that to be my next step. So I was in my wholeness, when I tuned in to that being, my next step in terms of my contribution in the world, and also. But what also happened after that, straight after that, is, I started to think about, my financial state and how cool it would be, because I knew that people that were coaches, were making, $10,000 a month. And that was a lot of money to me back then. Um, and I thought, well, yeah, that's how I can also increase my income. Now, That was my downfall. That was my downfall when I started to bring in, the thinking and the thought of it helping my income, raising my income. Now, you might say, Theresa, that's not a bad thing. No, it's not. It's not. It's actually a great thing. But what created the downfall wasn't what I was thinking or what I was deciding. It was where that decision stemmed from, the origin of the vibration of that decision. And in truth, that thinking was coming from a place of lack of what I didn't have. And it was true to coach, but I brought in scarcity into my journey. Now, being a coach, I was naturally a great coach, but coming in with that scarcity, with that lack, also brought decisions around, well, I need to fit in a box here. I need to learn how to create a business online. I need to learn how to market. I need to learn how to share my message. I need to learn all of these things. And I built all of these conditions up around it. I wonder if you can relate. It was an unknown industry to me at the time. And so I started to pursue, getting business coaches, paying, investing in high-level programs to find out my message, all the stuff I didn't know. Now, up until that time, I had created, pioneered, innovative businesses all based on that connection and tapping into what was within me, and they were highly successful. When I stepped into coaching, I was coming from a place of it was true, it was my purpose, it was my path, but there was a negative vision associated it. And that negative vision means that the energy that I was orientated in and that I was making choices from were from scarcity and lack, to get away from, a lower level income, to move out of the income level I was in. And I hope that's making sense. So I struggled. I struggled to grow my coaching business. I was a great coach, but I really struggled. I struggled so much that, in terms of struggle, I mean financially. I didn't create a financially sustainable income from coaching. In fact, I invested way more money in trying to build a business than than I received. And I wonder if you can relate here. It mightn't be coaching, but it might be some of the other ventures that you've felt called, that is your thing, and it's your thing, but the money hasn't flowed, or you felt like you're really hustling to make it happen. Can you relate? Yeah. And so and this actually led to another demise. It led to, my burnout. It led to my health deteriorating. And eventually my health had deteriorated so much because something come just out of the blue overnight that I actually had to let go of coaching. I chose to let go of coaching because I didn't see I had the capacity to coach and serve at the level that, I held for myself and my clients. And so I let go. And then a few years later, I get the call to coach again. But it came from a different orientation. came from an orientation of full wholeness. I stepped into it with from a place of full wholeness, from a place of abundance. And I did what I'd always done. I come back to carving my own pathway in terms of growing the business. And what was really interesting is when I had struggled, I had struggled and strived for this ideal of 10K months or a six-figure business, 6 figures in a year in business, from the negative vision, from the abundant vision, I overachieved what I had set, for myself in the past with ease and flow and joy. So hustle and flow, all comes back to the energy behind our decisions in the moments, our choices, and our state of orientation. Are we in the state of the past, the egoic identity of the past, and seeing our end result or our vision as something to get to and having to work our way there and having to meet criteria that we think we need to meet? Or are we putting our state of orientation in a state of, this is true for me, this is who I am, I'm in my greatness because I'm divinely connected to who I really am, the capacity I truly have? And the awareness of, everything through all time and space because I'm divinely connected. And I choose the higher. I choose to be in the temple, which I spoke about in our second series, our second part. And I choose to walk through the village, the vibration of my greatness, and make choices from the higher and follow through from the higher. Because the higher is working, co-creating with everything through all time and space, with creative spirit. And I get to bring forth an incredible creation with fun, love, adventure, and freedom because of my state of orientation. And not only that, there's a natural rhythm that I have in how I create and how I do life that is unique to me. And that natural rhythm is the natural rhythm of my true nature and the true nature of, creative energy. Let me know what's landing for you in the comments below. I'd love to know. So there's a law of vibration, very specific way. And the first step of that is choosing to be aware, choosing to be aware of self and aware of the truth and aware of the connection that you have to tap in and receive information that is not biased, is unconditional, that does not require for you to step up, does not require for you to meet any conditions to have what you want. The only thing is to listen and take inspired action. So I'm going to be speaking into the principle be, have, do at our Elevate immersion. And I'd love for you to join me where we really simplify the ability to lead, lead from a state of greatness in flow, because it is a skill. It is a skill. There's no doubt it's a skill. And there's a simple method that you can be, have, do that will blow your mind. The complexity around it is only there in how you think. There is no complexity when we are divinely connected. There's only simplicity and allowing ourselves to be all that we are. So I'm going to leave you with that. Please drop down what's really landing from for you. I love, what I often speak in the spirit of alchemy, and so what I share is often shared to inspire, evoke, awaken your wisdom, because you have all the answers within you, and you have, the ultimate blueprint to carve your own path. So love to read what's dropped for you here. Thank you. See you next week.